Growing up, one of my first ever NHL games was not even on a console. It was NHL 08 on the PC, and I played that game almost every day, along with another classic, NHL Power Play 98. I know I'm not technically a 90s kid, but I was playing NHL games on a Windows computer that was so old, it was beige. Since then, I have played NHL games on almost every gaming console possible, including my shitty Windows. Now, almost 2 decades later, we're playing NHL 24 on the newest gen consoles with some of the lowest approval ratings, a toxic community, and a recycled game with devs that seem almost silent. I just want to figure out, why did mine and so many others' love for the game die out? Where did everything go wrong? For me, one of the first declines of the NHL series began with Hockey Ultimate Team. Ultimate Team is a game mode that was created by the FIFA series in FIFA 09, which was later adopted by the NHL series in NHL 11. This game mode includes a market with microtransactions, aka packs, where you could pull, sell, and buy different players and build your dream squad. Then use those squads to play other people online, which quickly made it their main focus and their moneymaker. Granted, this game mode has initially helped bring more viewership and interest into the game through its content, as well as helping EA gain more resources, but at what cost? The cons definitely outweigh the pros in my opinion. Because of how Hockey Ultimate Team is set up, it makes the games have more of a drawn-out yearly cycle, promotes pay-to-win incentives, creates a toxic community, and ultimately promotes gambling to kids. I'm just gonna say it straight up, which is a huge no. Now granted, this isn't something we see in just Ultimate Team. It's a common theme throughout a lot of games nowadays, with numerous microtransactions and constant hits of dopamine. When you think of the best NHL game, what comes to mind? NHL Hits, NHL Slapshot, NHL 07? For most people, it's definitely NHL 14. The last NHL game fully released on the old consoles. Part of that might be people's nostalgia, but I have to agree, and I think they had a point. In my opinion, NHL 14 is exactly what an NHL game should be. Numerous game modes, hot at its peak, a soundtrack full of bangers, fucking bangers, Winter Classic mode, Live the Life, EASHL, GM Connected, online team play, Battle for the Cup, and online shootouts. Not only the game modes, but the game itself was feeling smooth with insane universal, useful deeks that actually added a skill gap. The game was actually fun. NHL 14 was thriving with viewership, and the player base was at an all-time high. The state of NHL games was perfect. Until the next game. This was the first year games started to move to the new Xbox One and PlayStation 4 consoles, including the NHL series with the release of NHL 15. To me, this is the beginning of the downfall. This ended up being one of the most underwhelming years an NHL game has ever seen. Many of the game modes and features that made up NHL 14 were nowhere to be found in NHL 15. GM Connected, EASHL, online shootouts, Live the Life, Winter Classic, Battle for the Cup, and so many other game modes and features weren't included until other years in the future. Some game modes, such as GM Connected, never even came back a decade later. The only upsides of NHL 15 were the graphics, and you had the option to play it on old consoles, which was basically NHL 14 with roster updates. I don't even think there was an official soundtrack in the menu. Regardless, NHL 15 just seemed like a complete wasteland compared to the prior year. Many years, updates, and engines later, here we are in 2024. Playing NHL 24 with an overall rating of 1.4 out of 5 stars. At the start of the year, EA NHL gained a new dev team. This dev team was surprisingly very vocal at the start of the year. People were excited and optimistic. Now, fast forward to the middle of April, silence. Why? Well, I think it equates to this game cycle and how it is set up for people to stop playing after a certain amount of time. After a while, there becomes no real incentive to play. It becomes stale quicker, so there's no incentive for EA to really update anything. Once everyone has teams full of 99 overalls, then what's next? What now? The game releases in October and is dead by March at the very latest. When the calendar hits January and Team of the Year and HUT is over for the devs, it's time to focus on the next game, hence the cycle. But what really originated this cycle, especially in Ultimate Team, which quickly became EA's main focus? I believe it was the GWC, the NHL Gaming World Championship, a tournament that was introduced in NHL 18, funded by Gary Bettman and the boys, and the NHL itself, where players across the world could compete 1 versus 1 for hundreds of thousands of dollars. First 2 years in NHL 18 and 19 were a success. It was even broadcasted through NBC, and the finals were held in Vegas at the HyperX Arena. But one difference made in NHL 19 changed the tournament and the state of Hockey Ultimate Team for good. In NHL 18, players would use NHL teams through online versus, which would lead a lot of people to use the same team, but it was more competitively balanced. However, in NHL 19, the NHL announced that the World Championships wouldn't be played through online versus anymore. It would be played through, you guessed it, Hockey Ultimate Team. Soon enough, people were rushing to spend money on packs to try and get the best team possible for the best competitive advantage possible. This spiraled into future years, incentivizing people to spend more money to try and stack their team in preparation.
Sold your fucking bike for HUT packs?
What?
That's not real life. You sold your 10-speed to fucking rip packs and you got dick on all of them.
Because I can't stop opening HUT packs.
I'm sorry?
I can't stop opening HUT packs. Then, after the tournament is done, sell their teams and prepare for the next year. I believe this is a huge part of why people feel like they're in a yearly cycle with giving their time and money to EA every single year. At this point, I think EA knows it too. I mean, for fuck's sake, they added a battle pass like every other game has nowadays. Now, I do want to make it clear I'm not hating on NHL as an esport, and I would love to see it grow. It just seems like GWC was created as a sort of a way to get people to play HUT more and pump more money into it, which it is a business at the end of the day. Ultimate Team's another reason why the NHL doesn't fund any Sixes tournaments, because there's no money in it. Prize pools have gone down, but that's another topic for a different video. Granted, given how small NHL esports is, we definitely are lucky to be able to compete for any money at all. To end us off here, it is understandable if myself and others are a bit hard on EA Sports. Their track record isn't doing them any favors, but just look at EA Sports NHL's comment sections. They're brutal. People are hard on EA Sports because we want to see the game succeed, and people feel like they haven't seen the game succeeding in a certain amount of years. Everyone in the end just wants to play a fun, exciting, and fresh hockey game for the love of the game of hockey itself. And I feel as if we just haven't had that for years. It definitely sucks a bit extra knowing that EA's dev team for NHL is an indie company with more limited resources compared to other games. Comparatively, hockey itself just isn't as big compared to other sports and is still a growing game. It also sucks that Ultimate Team has become EA's main focus, so the Be a Pro franchise mode and GM Connected hardcore fans are left in the dust. Regardless, there's still a big market for it out there, and that's definitely no excuse for straight up radio silence. I just hope EA is able to get back to their roots and make a game based on what makes a good hockey game, rather than hopping on trends just hoping for a quick buck. But knowing EA, that's probably not going to change anytime soon. Quickly, another big reason I made this video is to sort of move on from NHL content, at least in the short term, and move my content to other games. Most notably, X-Defiant, a new Ubisoft arena shooter, baby! With that being said, I hope you enjoyed, and consider subscribing. I might do more sort of video essays like this if people like them. I have some more ideas for them, so I'd definitely be down. Anyways, take care, brush, have a good one.